Herb, come in.
Prime Minister Trudeau, good to see you again.
You as well, Herb. So I trust that the update on the foreign investment in Canada I asked you to prepare for me is ready, along with the details on how foreign control is affecting our economy.
Yes, sir. My team has finished analyzing the last pieces of information, and I have a few different things to report to you, some of which may surprise you.
Continue.
So according to the news data, about 50% of Canadian industries are foreign-owned.
Yes, I was aware of that. It's quite a large number, but makes sense. What else?
Startling, sir, is that the U.S. controls about 90% of Canada's oil and automotive manufacturing industries.
90%? That's the number I was not expecting. This number is much higher than it needs to be. I understand that our relationship with the US is quite close, but they play too big of a role in our economy. Don't get me wrong, Herb. They are our biggest foreign investor, and their business gives many jobs to many Canadians. But oil and automotive are our two biggest industries, therefore we should have more control over them. Something needs to be done about this.
Strongly agree. This is why I have to come up with an idea that would help control the foreign investments in Canada.
I'm listening. Go on.
What if we had an agency that basically advised the government on whether it should allow each potential investor or branch plant to be set up in Canada? This would increase Canada's control of its own economic development.
Perfect! I like this. This sounds promising. Excellent work, Herb. Keep me up to date on this. What are we calling it? I think the Foreign Investment Review Agency is a good name. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, and your secretary wanted me to remind you that your press conference regarding the progress of the Constitution update process starts in 10 minutes.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I realize that not much information has been given out after we released the statement that the process of patriating the Constitution would begin. I would like to start off by saying that after proposing the amending formula, it has been not easy to persuade all 10 of our provinces to agree on a process for amending this formula. However, we're trying very hard to keep up with the patriating. As it is an important part of signifying our independence as a nation, we will continue with this process. I've also announced my will to include the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in the Constitution. However, many camouflages are opposed to this. I speak to you now, my fellow francophones, when I say I promise to you that this in no way will be used to erode your language or your culture. This is not the intent of my proposal at all, and I believe a constitution can permit the coexistence of several cultures and ethnic groups in a single state. Are there any questions?
Prime Minister Trudeau, with regards to Charter of Rights and Freedoms, this affects Canadian citizens very much, so don't you think that they should have a say in what the Constitution includes and what it does not?
Excellent point brought up. At this time, the federal government would like to call upon any citizens who have an issue that they would like to bring to Parliament regarding the Constitution. In any of my next meetings with the premiers, there will be an allotted time slot for people to voice their concerns.
Prime Minister, is there any guarantee that the concerns and issues will actually be taken into account by the decision makers?
Citizens have my word that we will weigh their opinions in our decisions. The Constitution is something meant to benefit the people, and we want to do the best job we can in updating it. With this, I'd like to thank everyone for their time, and further questions will be addressed to the Communications Office. Everyone, at this time, we will be taking a short break from discussions. I have made an open invite to any citizens who wish to come and voice their concerns regarding the Charter and the Constitution. Send in the first young lady.
Good afternoon. My name is Meredith Travers. I'm here today representing countless young women who are struggling with your government's anti-abortion laws. In this day and age, there are more women are needing abortions, and your government prevents us from going through this procedure. We are all absolutely fed up. This law is completely unjust and medieval. It doesn't recognize the needs of modern-day women. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms should be guaranteeing us this right.
Ms. Travers, we recognize the abortion law as one of the bigger social issues brought to light. However, I do think your time would be better spent taking this issue to the Supreme Court if you believe it's unjust.
I'm glad to hear you recognize this issue, and I will take your suggestion. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you, Ms. Travers. Next, I believe we have another young woman.
My name is Rachel Jones. Honored to meet you, Prime Minister. Glad you are taking the time to hear our concerns.
Please, proceed.
The reason I am in a wheelchair is because I am paralyzed from the waist down. Because of this, I find it incredibly hard to find work. This is the issue I wanted to bring up. that people with disabilities suffer from discrimination when searching for employment. We rarely have the same opportunities as people with disabilities. This is also a problem when it comes to things like housing and transportation.
I'm very glad you came today, Ms. Jones, because you brought up a very important point that we have already discussed in regards to the Constitution. We agree with what you have said, and hereafter the Charter will most definitely be recognizing the rights of people with disabilities.
This makes me really happy to hear. Thank you for everything.
You're absolutely welcome. And will our last speakers please step forward?
Hello, my name is Lee Kim. I recently immigrated to Canada. I want you to raise awareness about the rights of refugees like myself. We have been trying to make better lives for our families here. But if changes are not made to the Charter, I do not think we will be able to stay in Canada.
I completely understand your reasoning, Mr. Kim. We have reviewed this problem and concluded that rights such as life, liberty, and security of a person will be put in place to protect you.
Sir, thank you very much. I appreciate everything you're doing for
Ladies
us.
and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that after many, many months of negotiations, the Constitution has been finalized. The signing will now commence. Your Majesty?
This is a very historic day for the United States of America and Canada, as the negotiations for the Free Trade Agreement have finally been settled. On this date, January 2nd, 1988, I am proud to say that myself as well as Prime Minister Mulroney will be signing this agreement. Without all the previous restrictions on trade between our two countries, we are hoping that trade business will boom and benefit both our countries. Now, Prime Minister Mulroney, if you will.
Now, I would personally like to thank President Reagan on his continuous efforts to see this agreement through to the end. I do believe this will strengthen the relationship between our two great countries. Canada is very proud to be working alongside with the United States internationally. Our two countries worked with each other in the past decade at the United Nations peacekeeping missions to Sinai, Egypt, and Namibia. Since joining the UN, Canada has strengthened many of our international relations. For example, with countries like Zimbabwe. Since recognizing Zimbabwe's independence, we have become excellent trading partners, as well as we have been able to provide humanitarian relief. We mainly have the United Nations to thank for this. I would like to thank you all for coming here today to this historic event. I am very excited to see how our two countries will be benefiting from this agreement.
It's blooper time!
My name is Rachel Jones. Honored to meet you, Prime Minister Trudeau.
Formula. It has been not easy to persuade.
Speak slower, fam.
Good afternoon. My name is Meredith Travers, and I'm here today representing countless young women who are struggling with our government's anti-abortion laws. In this age,
You as well, sir. So I chat this.
Tell Tata to leave in 5 minutes.
Nina, I said don't.
Go proceed, please.
It is quite a large number of names. Why?
My name is Rachel Jones. Honored to meet you.
Pomoli?
Controls about 90% of Canada's oil and automotive.
Yes, right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, after... Yes. Thank you.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team in. Started